If there's any problem, you let me know because that.
Momentarily, as soon as our other councilmen come to the. Don't tap him on the shoulder. Tell him you can't be. Wait till after the politics.
We don't do that.
Oliver, your seat's getting cold without you.
You don't get away with it. You don't get nothing.
His microphone's on. No, I'm kidding. I hadn't talked to her about anything about like that.
But you know, and
Oh, I know.
I've been here. Apparently the other councilman had to buy the
I'm
light.
like, what are you talking about? We were just down there. They don't flow down there. We're landed down there. So the lady told us flow.
Well,
I'm here.
you here? Okay.
Shining star, we got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Administrative Conference, City Council is called to order. Please stand. We have prayer by Reverend Austin, and Councilman Jefferson will lead us in the pledge.
Father, as we come today in this setting of city government, we thank you, God, for your grace, and we thank you for your mercy. But now, Lord God, we call upon you to touch these men, these women, to take care of the matters regarding this, our city. What they do and what they say, Father, we pray that it will be for the benefit of all of us and not just individuals. Be with us in this session. In the name of our Savior, amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag and with your hand over your heart, repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, maybe see it. I got to record. I think we'll be out here in about 30 minutes if everybody cooperate.
Sounds good.
Sounds good?
You don't hear anybody
Please call the
argue.
roll.
Councilman Jenkins,
Present.
Councilman Bowman, Councilman Fleury,
Present.
Bradford,
Present.
Everson,
Here.
Corbin,
Present.
Councilwoman Lynch. Dan couldn't do it.
All right, Mr. Clerk, I'm sorry, I didn't look up.
He doesn't have to make clerk notes today then, since he's already done that today. He's done his job, so he's pretty much off the hook for the rest of the day.
Okay, tomorrow I will be entertaining a motion to approve the minutes of the Administrative Conference of Monday, February the 8th, as well as the City Council meeting of Tuesday, February the 9th.
You will have one.
At this time, we're going to ask for acknowledgement of guests, distinguished guests, communications, and otherwise. Any councilman have any guests or acknowledgements or comments they want to like to make at this time? Yes, Councilman Jenkins.
I have a guest visiting from the Speak Squad, if I'm not mistaken, and I'd like to invite Eric Clampett up here to the microphone to give us a brief introduction of what they do and about their organization.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Jenkins. I'm a representative from Speak Squad. We are a local speech team that our mission is to educate young people to speak and be able to speak their minds. We're part of a bigger organization called ICC, which is Institute for Cultural Communicators. It's a Christian-based nonprofit that has the same objective to kind of raise young people up and teach them how to speak and debate and do that sort of thing. So thank you very much.
All right. Well, thanks for coming down. You'll probably hear from him later. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I was going to ask him a question on.
Well, see, he's speaking. He didn't say listening. They're just the speaking group. So
But anyway, thank you for coming down, and I like the concept. Speaking your mind, being comfortable, having the real understanding of involvement in whatever, and having the esteem to just speak and talk and make yourself felt within the room like you are here today. So thank all of you. And are you from any particular school, or are you just all from different schools?
Yeah.
Oh, you're homeschooled. Oh,
They're all
okay.
homeschooled, and I was going to say they're here to observe us in this debate and forum. So, be on your best behavior, Mr. Chair. if you will.
All right, we examples and role models today. Yeah, so.
That's it.
All righty, thank you. Any other councilman have any, Councilman Fleury?
Mr. Chairman, Mayor Tyler, members of the council, I just want to report to you that Chairman Bradford and I attended G. Ray Evans's funeral. Mayor, you were there on Friday night. We were there Saturday, and whoa, what a beautiful service, and so well attended. New Elizabeth Missionary Baptist Church, the choir, the pastor, and the members. It was just outstanding, and I was so glad to be a part of that.
Thank you, Councilman Fleury. And let me just echo the sentiments of Councilman Fleury. I think I met G. Ray maybe once or twice, but I wasn't that familiar with him. But after attending his funeral, I was very impressed, not only with his contributions to the city in various financial areas, but also in his church, well, in his community. It was a delight, and I pray for the family as they continue to deal with this time of grief and adjustment in their lives. So, thank you, Councilman, for being there. Any other councilman? Okay, if not, Madam Mayor, do you have any communications?
I don't have any communications today. I do have one guest, and I will say my guest, Pastor Calvin Austin, who is here today. I was at his church on yesterday speaking for Black History Month, and wanted to just say thank you for being here today. He, as you know, has been appointed to a home mortgage board, and he's someone that I've known down through the years, and certainly had a hand in getting him another official diploma in his role with the civil rights movement back in the years there when he had to leave Shreveport and go to New Orleans to finish his high school education. But of course, he was able to get that official diploma when I became superintendent of schools. So we're just proud to have him here today.
Thank you, Reverend Austin.
Oh, did you? You invited to get that?
You did invite me?
Yes, sir, did.
Uh,
Just didn't look at it on Facebook.
Facebook.
Okay,
That's
that's a
official
fair
communication.
criticism. I will accept that. I may have missed that.
But I did understand that your presentation at his church yesterday was very, very informative and enlightening. He claimed that a couple of people wanted you to come back and preach again. Speak again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any others? If not, we're going to move forward with reports. Property standard. Anybody have any questions or comments regarding property standards? Not at this time, Mr. Green. We'll hear from you later. Our revenue collection and forfeit report will be taken at our next meeting of the month. We will have a master plan committee tomorrow, Mr. Sweeney, I trust. Okay, thank you. I don't think we have any public hearings on the agenda today. Tomorrow, I have no request to speak regarding issues on the agenda. So we would move forward with appointments. Mr. Crawford.
Confirmations and appointments. City Chief Building Official Gary Norman and Division Manager for Athletics and SPAR C. Gerard Jones.
Okay, now we had a chance to visit with these gentlemen previously. Anyone have any questions or concerns they would like to express? Okay, we look forward to confirming them tomorrow. You may continue.
Consent agenda legislation, there's nothing under introduction but to adopt ordinances and resolutions under the consent agenda legislation are as follows. Resolution 31 recognizes the accomplishments of Jesse Nealon Stone Jr. during the unveiling of his official portrait. Resolution 32 recognizes Sandra K. Ratliff Lee as she celebrates her retirement from Caddo Prairie Schools and for her service and dedication to the community. Resolution 33 rejects bids received by IFB number 15-061 for Wallace Force Main replacement. Resolution 34 declares the city's interest in certain adjudicated properties as surplus. Resolution 35 suspends certain provisions of Chapter 10 and Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances relative to sale, dispensement, and consumption of alcoholic beverages in connection with the South Highlands Summer Market. Resolutions 36 suspends certain provisions of Chapter 10 and Chapter 106 of the City of Shreveport Code of Ordinances relative to sale, dispensing, and consumption of alcoholic beverages at the Nitro Circus Pub Crawl Check-In event.
Anyone have any questions or comments regarding these items?
Just one on the Wallace Force Main. Can somebody, are we disclosing what the delta is between the bid and the ask on this? Or
This
are we
isn't actually a
reluctant to-
price issue. This is actually some verbiage that was actually in the bid that we're having to redo, so Robert can address that.
In the bid documents for the project, there was one section of the plans that said we had an alternate bid. And the plans made a statement in the alternate would be added to the base bid as far as the prices was concerned. But yet, if you look at the bid documents themselves, the bid document said you have to use these prices in lieu of the prices bid on the base bid. So there was a conflict in the verbiage, and we had to clear that, we're having to clear that up.
Gotcha. Okay. So not like we had last week where we had these huge differences between.
That's correct.
what was- Okay. I was just getting a little worried about the long-term consequences of everything coming in, different numbers. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Robert, any other questions or discussions regarding these resolutions? Okay. I don't see any ordinance, so Ms. Crawford, you continue.
Resolutions on second reading and final passage, or which will require only one reading. Resolution 10 supports the completion of Interstate 49 through the intercity corridor. I believe this has been postponed until March 8th, 2016. Resolution 29 authorizes the mayor to execute telecommunications franchise agreement. And Resolution 30 authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with various entities relative to supplemental payments for ambulance services provided to Medicaid patients.
Okay, now we again have discussed these before. The 10 will stay postponed until the 8th. In regards to 29 and 30, anyone have any questions? If not, thank you. You may continue, sir.
Thank you. Introduction of resolutions. There are none. Introduction of ordinances not to be adopted prior to March 8th, 2016. Ordinance 13 amends the 2016 general fund budget appropriating the funds authorized therein. This is a city court supplement for about $222,000 that they provide every year as part of their overall operating budget. There's no additional funds coming from city funds as far as the operating reserve or monies there too in that. Ordinance 14 amends the 2014 New Freedom Paratransit Vehicle 2015 Sport Tran Capital Improvements, 2015 Sport Tran Bus and Bus Facilities, 2016 Sport Tran Capital Improvements, and 2016 Sport Tran and Bus Facilities project budgets appropriating the funds authorized therein. Ordinance 15 amends the 2016 Budget Streets Special Revenue Fund appropriating the funds authorized therein. Ordinance 16 amends the 2016 Capital Improvements budget. This is a companion to 15. Ordinance 17 is a zoning case number C-108-15, amending Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances, the City of Shreveport zoning ordinances by rezoning property located on the east side of Spring Street, Service Road, 112 feet north of Uri Drive, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, being the same is hereby changed from B3 Community Business District to I1 Light Industrial District with site plan and use approval. Ordinance 18 is a zoning case number C-2-16, amending Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances, the City of Shreveport zoning ordinances by rezoning property located on the northwest corner of Forbing Road and East Fluent Lucas Road, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, LA being the same is hereby changed from R1D Urban One-Family Residential District to B2 Neighborhood Business District with site plan and planned building group approval. Ordinance 19, zoning case C-5-16, an ordinance amending Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances, the City of Shreveport zoning ordinances by rezoning property located on the northeast corner of Hearn Avenue and Quinton Street, 43 feet east of Hearn Avenue, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, being the same is hereby changed from B2 Neighborhood Business District to R2 Suburban Multifamily Residential District with site plan approval. And finally, Ordinance 20 is zoning case number C-9-16, amending Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances, the City of Shreveport zoning ordinances by rezoning property located on the east and west side of Sand Beach Boulevard, 950 feet south of East 70th Street, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, being the same is hereby changed from B1 Buffer Business District and B3 Community Business District to R3 Urban Multifamily Residential District with site plan approval.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Jenkins.
All right. You know, it's not about any of these in per se, but I was reminded recently about the street we have closed downtown because of the, now, at one point we thought it would be a year. Now, obviously, we're well past our year.
Talking about Lake Street?
Lake Street.
Okay.
Do we have, has anybody got an update on where we are on that project?
Mr. Westerman can provide that.
Okay. Maybe everybody else knows, but it occurred to me when I heard something.
Well,
that-
we wasn't here when that was passed, so we.
So we know it, so you know for a fact it's over a year.
Yeah.
That is very, very clear.
About a year, huh? But I guess
I was like, I don't think anybody. Okay.
we're not.
Councilman Jenkins, the initial agreement between us, the UPRR, and the Holiday Inn was for a 2-year temporary closure, at which time the UPRR was to concentrate on getting the information together that we can design a quiet zone crossing. They are in the process of preparing to send us an agreement with the city in order for them to complete the design of that crossing. I have not seen the agreement yet, but I am expecting it just at any time.
Okay. And I think the other thing that spurred it was, I read that article, it was in the newspaper about this federal funding for some street closure for rails, that there's a new federal funding that the state is getting a certain allocation of it. I think it was press release on either Saturday or Sunday, and it made me think of this specific issue. But so, anyway, you're waiting on a contract.
Yes, sir.
And even though at one point we talked about it being 1 year, I guess we agreed to 2 years before it was all over, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Robert, just a minute,
Yes,
please,
sir.
before you leave. Brian, I need to ask a question.
Absolutely.
In regards to number 18 there, and Florida, that railroad track, Mr. Councilman Corbin's called that to my attention several times about the condition of the railroad track. Does the city engineer take the lead with the rail on trying to work these? Because we got one on Interport Drive that's completely abandoned, and it's a car killer.
We, Interport Drive, the one you're speaking of, we're trying to get that track removed.
Right.
Is what we're working on from that standpoint. It is the railroad company's responsibility to maintain all crossings as far as road crossings are concerned. We work with them in conjunction with the type of crossing that's put in and everything else along that line, but normally it's an association between the railroad and the city for all those crossings. But the one you're talking about specifically, we're trying to get it removed.
Flournoy Lucas?
Yes, sir, that's
Okay,
correct.
you're working on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
It was redone in the last 18 months.
Which one was that?
That Florida Lucas behind Forby Marketplace. The railroad closed it for a week
Yes, sir.
and redid it, and it's actually worse
It's worse than that.
than it
They,
ever was.
whenever they do crossings, this is the problem that we have, they have a tendency to elevate the crossing. Well, then they come back and they they throw in some asphalt on either side of the crossing, which creates a bigger bump than what existed before. And that's one thing we're working with them on.
Good deal.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
And they fixed it.
Any other,
It's actually worse than it was.
Mr. Clerk?
On ordinance number 14, the title is not consistent with the way that we normally draft titles, and there was also some other language in the ordinance that wasn't consistent. We've talked to the city attorney's office and to Sportran. They prepared a new ordinance. We will ask that that one be added to the agenda tomorrow and that this one be removed.
Which one is it?
14, the new ordinance will be 14A. Mr. Crawford, would you also look to see whether we need a general fund budget ordinance with this? Do we need a general fund
I'll
budget
look and see if
ordinance
there's a
with
companion
14
necessary for
also?
it. I'll look and see. It's my understanding that with this ordinance, there's no additional dedication of funds from the operating budget. This strictly comes from Sportran's operating budget that we've already dedicated
Yeah,
those funds to.
We were just quibbling with the language, not
Right.
with any of the.
Okay.
We'll certainly take another look at it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk, for that observation, and we'll make that adjustment tomorrow, and because it's for introduction, so we can do that, but we'll do that. Any other questions or concerns regarding these ordinances? If not, let's move to
Ordinances on second reading and final passages, numbers are assigned ordinance numbers. Ordinance number 7 amends the 2016 Airport Enterprise Fund budget. Ordinance number 8 amends the 2016 Capital Improvements budget. Ordinance number 10 closes and abandons alleys between the 1600 block of Clay Street and Alston Street in Cut Cliff subdivision in section 35, T18 North, R14 West. Ordinance number 11 closes and abandons a portion of Sand Beach Boulevard between 70th Street and Fern Street in section 20, T17 North and R13 West. And then ordinance 12 amends the 2016 capital improvements budget appropriating the funds authorized herein.
Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding these? I will say, Mayor, on ordinance 10,
Okay.
this is the Mount Canaan expansion project. I'm going to ask that as soon as we can, if we approve this tomorrow, that we would get it to you and back to us so we can get them moving. They've had to suspend their work because they was allowed to move to a certain extent, and they've reached that point, and they need this verification to move forward.
Okay.
So I would appreciate if we can expedite getting this through the system.
Okay. As
Thank
soon
you,
as
ma'am.
you all pass on this tomorrow, we'll
Okay.
get right on
And
it.
I'm trusting that.
Make a note.
That we get that done. And the other ones, I think, are pretty much self-explanatory, so, but do we have any other comments? Okay. Mr. Murphy, you table legislation, you have any?
I'm not
Mr.
that I'm aware
Tosin?
of any coming off the table.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for your service, sir, and we will see if we have some appeals.
I believe we have 3.
We have 3,
Yes, sir.
probably standard appeals, 3. That's up, going all right.
Good afternoon. All right. Our first case is 2749 Barrett Street. This is a demolition. We've already removed the asbestos from the structure. We had someone to come in, pay the taxes, and pick the property up. As you can see, there's a huge hole in the roof. These were from in the morning. It's a little rainy, but it's caving in. You have several weak spots in the floor.
Have y'all talked, and so the person paid the taxes on it, and then now they're contesting, they've appealed the demolition, or?
Appealed the demolition. He didn't show up to the appeal, to the Property Standards Board, and I don't see him here.
Okay,
He could-
no, they're here.
Okay,
And I did speak to him today.
okay.
So they apparently, and David, if you want to come up, you can, probably appropriate time.
Yes.
So apparently they had an original date in December for a property standards meeting, which was then postponed. And they didn't get the notification, if I'm not mistaken, for the January meeting.
Okay.
But he can probably tell you the whole thing because he called me today about it. So I'll turn it over to him.
Yeah. Give us
Okay,
your name and your address for the record, okay?
I'm David Clampett. I'm now the owner of this property. We went through the adjudicated process of getting this property. While we were going through that process, we saw the notices on the door, but we were not allowed to do anything to the property until it went through its processes. And so once we finally got the deed, very shortly thereafter, then we got the notice that they were requesting it either demolished or fixed up. And so we were to show up to that meeting November 17th, and they called me and said that the meeting had been postponed because of not enough board members for the property standards appeal. They said that it would be reset in January sometime, and I never received a notice for that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today. We'd be there. But long story short, our personal property fronts Fairfield Avenue, and this is in the back of our property. And so we have, this isn't just a property that we're going to neglect. We have a personal interest in this property, and we want to see it fixed up and become part of our bigger plan. But we just, because of the obvious scope of the bad shape it's in, we're going to need a little bit of time to do that. We just didn't want to do anything until we knew that we were in agreement that we were going to be allowed to do that and not have it bulldozed. So
is this property is contiguous to your
yes.
primary residence?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And so now, I realize that adjudicated property and acquisitions are difficult, and those, where are y'all in the ownership?
We have now received the deed to the property, and so we could start working on it, assuming that it's not wanting to be bulldozed.
So y'all are wanting to maintain the structure there on the site, at least currently. That's what you're envisioning that you think you want to do.
Yeah, it's going to be completely gone through and redone from floor to ceiling, but yes.
So, I guess what I would say is, what I would like to see, certainly I understand why it certainly sounds like you have good motivation to get it done. And, what I would like to see is those issues that we address in property standards are just the exterior, just those things that can be seen.
Completely understand.
If you can stabilize the building, put a new roof on it.
Absolutely.
And, make sure it's secured and clean around the perimeter. We don't have any more issue with it other than now the amount that's been spent on asbestos abatement.
$1,250
is still going to be tagged to it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we did send notification out. We can't make people sign for it, but he was to be there on the 19th of January.
Okay, well, that issue in the grand scheme of things, I think is relatively minor. I understand, y'all may have, but y'all may have crossed wires somewhere, or somebody didn't get notification of it. I'm not holding anybody to blame for that necessarily, but rather focus more on like the long-term results of what happens here. But I do want to make sure, we did spend money getting a contractor to abate the asbestos, so that is going to be tied to the property, correct? There's a lien on it for that. So you understand?
No, I was unaware of any asbestos abatement or anything like that. Was this prior to it being deeded to me?
Right there, it was yellow at the time. Now you can see that it's been stripped. Thank you.
So that would have been...
No, but wouldn't that lien appear on the adjudicated property?
He bought it after.
In the year prior to, so between the time that he paid the taxes and got the deed, it sounds like this work was done and a lien was put, which will be a lien that's placed, it's a first priority over the taxes for the next year. So when your next year tax bill comes due, you will have the liability for the cost of the removal of that asbestos.
When was
that just sounds like, I don't know the dates, y'all have to get together on the dates, but I'm perfectly willing for the subject matter at hand here. It sounds like you need a little more time to figure out what your plan is and what you want to do and everything. Sounds like maybe the two of y'all can communicate on that asbestos time frame and just answer a few questions there, or unless you know the answer off the top of your head now.
I think there needs to be some better communication between all of you and us. If there's something that you guys are planning to do in your communities, that's fine, but let us know.
What do you mean?
If you knew he was coming and you've had communication, this is my first time hearing from this gentleman.
It's my first time ever meeting him.
Okay.
And I heard from him this morning at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I've been in communication with Jacqueline Windsor out of your department.
I guess the issue here, Mr. Green, is that, again, even if these issues would have come up, my question, sir, is that Does the fact that there's an abatement fee, is that a concern of yours not to move forward, or you wanted to move forward?
I mean, if I got to pay it, I got to pay it, but I was completely unaware that any asbestos abatement was being done on the property. The last I had talked to Miss Windsor from his office was, she said, hey, just show up to this November 17th meeting and ask for how much time you need, and it'll be granted. And then the meeting got canceled for not enough board members, and she said, we're going to redo it, and I'll send out a notice to you when it's going to come available. And the next notice I received was that it had already been done, January 19th, and so I called her on it, and she said, oh, don't worry about it. City Council, you can go and appeal it to City Council, and they'd probably give you more time than what the board would anyway. So I said, well, okay, here we are.
Okay. Well, the city is out of expense for this abatement. So we have to be responsible and hold people accountable for that.
I'm just wondering, was it done prior to me receiving ownership of the property? I guess is my question.
It looks
because would I
like-
be responsible for that cost?
Well,
We're just
you
looking on-
assume the liability as well as the property when you assumed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you purchased the property, you would have had, let's see, you would have had, the, obligation to follow up on what came with that property.
Right.
So if it had something pending against it, yeah, so it was inspected for utility disconnect and asbestos abatement. The asbestos inspection was done in October of 2014.
Yeah, I didn't even receive the
So
deed.
that was the inspection, that the abatement probably didn't happen until 6 months later or something.
I can get you a good
I
date
can't
on
get it, I can't see an exact date on here. But here's what I'd like to do, I mean, because again, yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. I guess Oliver may have gotten some information about it earlier today, but being, it's in my district and this is the first time I'm seeing it. But I certainly feel like if we've got somebody with resources that is, got property contiguous to it, that, has a ability to do something positive with it, I'd like to see that happen. But it does sound like maybe y'all two need a little bit of communicating just to make sure you each understand each other, maybe make sure everybody has the right contact information for one another, that kind of thing. So I'd like to move to postpone it just 30 days, or I'd be fine even with 2 weeks. But just to postpone it a little bit, to give you all a chance to kind of coordinate a little bit, make sure there's nothing else that needs to be done. And then we can come back in a month and if we need more time, we can grant more time then, or.
I would support your motion, but Councilman Corbin was on the clock. I mean, on the.
We answered my question.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right, we're okay. So I second the 30-day postponement.
Green, you had something else you wanted to say?
Huh?
Sorry? I was taking Mr. Green.
It's your
I thought he
turn.
had something he had to say.
Because again, if we knew that, and most our citizens or constituents within our area want to do something, they do communicate with us. We try to reach the proper department to go over that way. So I'm not sure why this one didn't get communication the way it should have. But at the same time, if he would have come to, sir, if you would have went to the private standard board, you probably would have gotten more information prior to coming here. You probably would have had a little more information.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a fair characterization,
Okay.
because he's had multiple conversations with somebody in the office. Now, I'm not, I mean, he called me, I do know the gentleman, he is very, he has capability to actually do something good. He is, clearly properly motivated, since it is next door to his house, to clean it up. He probably was maybe misled on that this was an administrative process today, and I think we've, by virtue of some things that transpired, either I was not aware of or he was not aware of, we've kind of gotten off track, in my opinion. But I certainly support 30 days if he has the energy and interest in restoring a house in the city of Shreveport and has the capability to do so. I wouldn't know why we wouldn't let him.
Oh, no. I mean, my position always that we can salvage and rehabilitate any property, it's a good thing for Shreveport.
Yeah, I've done that with another property right
Yeah,
next door to it already.
You don't have no
so
problem with
it's-
us as far as giving you an extension to move forward. But my only concern, Councilman, was that we said communication problem. We didn't, there was a lot of communications. And I'm just saying that there are levels of communication that could have, I think, avoided you being surprised today. You were surprised today, and I don't know if that would have come up in a previous area of meeting. But we're gonna, I think, agree that, we appreciate you for doing what you're doing as it relates to taking a property and rehabbing it into part of your property value. So, and I'm gonna call for the vote, but I want to ask you one other question. Within the 30 days, what would be your approach to this property?
So are you asking if I can completely rehab this in 30 days?
And what the councilman said as far as the exterior of the property, can you?
I can completely secure it from, people being able to get inside of it or anything like that, if that, I guess if that's what you're asking.
And I think really maybe, I think what the chairman is kind of asking is what can we expect in 30 days? And I think what I'd like to see in 30 days is to make sure that the two of you have kind of coordinated and understand, and you understand the expectations of the property standards department, and that you have at least a plan in place to tell us what your plan of action is by then. I mean, it would be great if there's it looks like primarily it's a roof problem, so it looks like if there is, if there was a...
There's a everything problem.
Yeah, but as far as stabilization of further deterioration, I mean, you gotta secure the envelope first, and then, what's inside can take its own time to heal. But as far as what we see on the outside, it's mainly a roof, and but I think the two of y'all should coordinate first, because once you find out what these asbestos charges are, that may change your mind about how you want to proceed. You may, you may want to continue on with the lot and get rid of the house, or use the wood for some other use, or whatever. I don't know what y'all's final determination is going to be, so I don't want to stick to one particular result. But I would like for y'all to communicate after this, set some common expectations, and come back to us in 30 days and make sure that we all know what we're looking at and dealing with, and we're on the same page.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if I could just, because I want to make sure that from my office that we're doing what we need to do. You communicated with somebody named Ms. Windsor. Is that somebody in the Property Standards Department?
That is someone in the Property Standards Department.
Okay, so then we have a problem, but we'll deal with that.
Yes.
Okay? And once you get with Mr. Green, then I want an update to make sure that we don't drop the ball. Okay?
And let me also say that everything is posted on that house, as he said. So it's not as if he's not getting his notifications. It's posted on the property, and we do have proof of that. And it's also...
We'll deal with it after the meeting.
Yeah, we'll. And I think we can all acknowledge it, even as the best attempts to notify, public notices can go missed at some point. Even though I'm sure, I don't doubt that Property Standards properly did the notification. I don't doubt that you didn't see it. That doesn't mean they didn't properly do it. I just think that sometimes happens. I mean, there's especially in tax sales, there's new owners to property. There's a lot of information coming in from different points of view. So
I just want to make sure that our people are doing what they need to do as the mayor of this city.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're doing
Certainly.
what we need to do.
But
We'll talk to you right after the meeting today.
thank you.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Jefferson, second by the chair, that we would get this gentleman on this case, a 30-day extension to review and give us a plan of action for this property. Discussion has been held. You may vote.
Mr. Bowman? 6 yes.
That motion,
I'm
sorry? Yes, that motion passes 6-0, 1 absent. Okay. Okay, sir, thank you. And we'll be looking to hear back from you. And they will, the administration as well as the Property Standards Department will be happy to help you in any way. Thank you for coming down.
Okay, our next property is 530 LaSalle. This is a cleanup. has started the cleanup. It did start to remove a lot of the debris from the property. We have this that is left on the property. This was put out on the street. As you can see, we still have the remainder of a large tree on the property. This is the backside. And that's the remnants of the tree.
Okay, and that's my area. Is the owner here?
No, sir, he's not.
But as far as what you saw, and that was from the day.
Yes, sir. That was from today.
I mean, I was asking only because the grass was so green. Did you notice that? But anyway, so work has been started.
Work has been started.
You comfortable with what you saw?
Yes, sir. I mean, he's continuing to work. And we were going to, he asked for a month. We said we'll give him a month.
I so move that we postpone this for 1 month.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Mr. Green, can you go back to the pictures? Go back one. So, in effect, the city's clearing this lot because he's putting everything out on the street for us to take away?
Well, he is putting it on the street.
I just don't find that acceptable. I don't think it's the way it's supposed to work. That's just my opinion, but you know, I'm glad he's cleaning up a lot and he's making something look better. But if cleaning it means throwing it across the fence and expecting our city crews to come pick it up, I have an issue with that.
It actually fell in the right of way. So, I mean, he is cleaning it from that side too.
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to sit there until our crews come and pick it up, right?
He'll call it in, yes.
For a bulk collection pickup.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure that's what bulk collection's for. Cleaning property standards violations.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yes, sir.
I'll just register an opinion. I don't disagree with you, Mike, but at the same time, you know, I think it's the type of thing that really requires more discussion and us kind of coordinating and planning a little bit better how to implement a bulk collection program that's maybe more clearly defined or something. At this point, I guess I feel like I don't want the other neighbors to suffer from having to see it sit there longer or whatever. You know, I mean, at least they are cleaning it. But I mean, I see what you're saying. I guess I think I don't know that necessarily a decision on this is going to change that practice in the short term. I think we should look more for like a long-term solution for this in general.
Here's the line. You know, I saw a bunch of stuff in that yard, and one of your previous pictures has some metal objects. You know, is putting underbrush out there and tree limbs okay, but then if he dismantles some of those metal buildings and stacks them up, are we going to be expected to pick those up as well?
He's not dismantling the buildings. Actually, the buildings are stable. But you'll see more of that he owns both properties, but he has started mainly with this one. Most of the metal stuff, I'm pretty sure he'll probably scrap.
Well, I think, Mike, I'm sorry.
No, I've finished.
I hear you, and my question is going to be, what has been the practice in the past? I'm not aware of any policy for addressing these type of issues. I think in our property standard meeting on last week, there were some suggestions on some other items that we may need to look at and address. And I'm going to ask that we refer this back to that same, Mayor, to your department, so
Yes,
they
sir.
can consider
Okay.
what would be the proper approach to take
Right.
if a resident did this. Is a violation that is all inclusive, that you clean up the area and then haul off your debris yourself, or they have the privilege of calling out the knuckle-boom truck and getting it picked up?
And, you know, I think that's going to be some of the legislation we need to tweak, because I think it is going to be something to do with legislation. And I recall that we are talking about trying to do some revisions,
Yes.
should I say?
That's right.
Or even making some new legislation. because, you know, it can become a problem. And so I think that's one of those issues we need to discuss with the Property Standards Board. Committee, right?
Right.
Subcommittee, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we on a 60-day postponement to review those other items, and I'm asking that this item be included
Yes,
in
sir.
that conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And he's going to make the request for the truck to come out.
Yes, sir.
And at what time, you think? When he completes his,
He needs to get on further
Eradication.
down the road.
Huh?
He's got a lot more to put out.
that's what I'm saying.
But if you want me, I can easily tell him to go ahead on a call and make several pickups over just one big one.
Aaron, don't forget those chilling words of Councilman Jenkins last meeting, that you need to schedule it before you're gonna do it.
Okay. All right, well,
She's not here to yell at me right now.
okay. It was moved by the chair and seconded by, who seconded, I forgot. Okay, the vice chair seconded that we will postpone this for 30 days. Any other discussion? If not, please vote. All right, that motion passes 6-0, one absent. Were those two items
No.
connected?
This one is, this 526 LaSalle is connected
Yes.
to it. It's all in one big fence. And this is the rest of the stuff. And
Wow, look at that.
All this got to be eradicated?
yes,
I know those lawnmowers and that iron and tin, somebody gonna pick that up. Because every time I put something on the curb, they get it before they try to
yeah, that's going to be
I
scrapped.
don't think anybody's picking up that, though.
What, that stuff? Well,
I was looking at the Grand Prix. Me too.
you want the grab?
Jerry and I are going to be in a bidding war.
When you put the grab on the street, let us know.
Say again?
But if they are connected then in the same property owner, I move that this one also be extended for 30 days.
Second.
Any discussion? Please vote. That motion passes, one absent today. Any other?
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other appeals? Mr. Crawford, Mr. Clerk?
No other appeals.
Not today.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm good.
any reports from any boards, officers, or committees today?
I'll just say briefly, we did have a meeting of the master plan committee, and I'm sure we'll get a more extended report tomorrow from Mr. Sweeney. But we did elect new officers, and I'll be serving as chairman of that group. It rotates between the commission and the council, so it's back to the council now. We had a good discussion about a number of items on the Unified Development Code and set some future meeting dates. And it was a good, productive chance to review all that was going on in the UDC, as well as, you know, kind of set out some timelines for all the things that are going to be ahead of us, and to talk about ways that committee can kind of benefit our local elected bodies. So we look forward to continued meetings.
Thank you, Councilman Everson, and thank you for accepting the chairmanship.
Thank you.
Because I know with this year being so relevant to the UDC, you serving as chair is going to give us a great leadership and insight on what directions we should move with that.
Not only is relevant, but he's the guru.
It is the time. The time is upon us. Okay, thank you. And we'll further discuss other boards and committees later on. Oh, let me say it now, since we're at this point. I'm planning on having a small emergency business task force meeting in March.
Yes, sir.
And if you could have the person dealing with the fair share coordinator to prepare me a report of the fair share numbers
Okay.
prior to that meeting. And if you have it for me somewhere around the 10th of March, I think that'll be adequate time.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Clerk, Mr. Clerk, you have a report.
You'll notice on your agenda tomorrow, there will be an executive session concerning City of Shreveport versus H&W demolition. And it will be just before the city council meeting.
Okay, all right. Any questions regarding any reports so far? Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right, we're moving along swiftly. Any additional communication from the mayor?
No, sir, thank you.
None? Any additional communication from city council members? I see none. I have one request for him. Mr. Joseph Lacy, is he here?
Mr. Lacy, Mr. Crawford has agreed to visit with him afterwards, so
That'd be-
that's been taken care of.
All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. And let me, Ms. Crawford, you want to say something?
No, sir.
Okay. Now I was going to recognize our former commissioner, David Cox. Good to see you. Okay. All right, is there any other business before this body today? If not, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Could beat me on it, buddy. You didn't want to go there. You were worried. You were worried.
She has the 2015 report already.
Came up here and took my agenda.
I'm